Pretty Little Liars, the TV show, sometimes deals with disturbing and problematic topics. We've provided a list of content warnings in the episode description.
We're good.
Hello and welcome to Dead Ends. I'm Emily.
I'm Brenton.
And every now and then I really give you a spook because I didn't start it.
You're just ready to go.
You say we're ready to go, so then I come in.
You just immediately respond. I'm surprised at the quickness.
I'm sorry that you're not as fast as me.
Definitely not.
When I say some real speed shit.
Just doing donuts on the podcast.
You just say go and I say okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know my line.
Yeah.
Hello. And then I say welcome and then I say my name.
Yeah. I'm Brenton. I don't know if I did.
I think you did.
Giant ass pimple today, so apologies for the video version if you're staring at it.
Oh, he's very insecure.
Yeah, it's huge. Look at this.
It's kind of
Takes
like
up like half my face.
It kind of looks like you have staph, but it's a pimple. I saw it before.
It's huge. So I'm gonna hide behind the pop screen here, and but that doesn't have anything to do with this episode.
No, there's no acne on teenagers in television.
No, because they're all in their 20s.
We had acne. You were 30.
Unless it's a plot point or something. But Spencer knows.
Yeah.
And then proceeds to just tailspin.
Uh-huh.
It's a pretty good setup in the episode, too, of just like, everybody knows the car crash is you're just waiting for the car crash to happen.
And they didn't drag it out too long. I appreciated the timeline on this. Unlike the Maggie situation.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say if there's one thing Pretty Little Liars does is like rip tear through plot lines. But then, of course, Maggie, how soon I forget, dragging its feet all the way to the finish line.
Maggie, Jackie, anything that has to do with Ezra's love life.
Yeah.
Drags.
Yeah. That's brutal. Because I was going to say, we already fucking wrapped up the Meredith shit in this week, up, out, gone until we decide to drag it back up.
Wrapped up the Meredith shit.
I was like, oh, we're already done. Okay. Rip through it. Whatever. And I have my quibbles about how that goes.
And we have another alley scene.
Yes. A
hallucination.
And just as we come up on the Christmas season, the ghost of Bully's past visits another one of the liars.
Has she visited
everybody?
When did she visit Hannah? In the hospital.
Yes,
she's the first one.
That was the first one. Then Emily in the shed.
Uh-huh.
Not shed.
It was a garage.
Yeah, where she was just locked in.
But it had sliding doors. I get it.
Has she visited Spencer yet?
Yeah, with the pain meds.
Thank you. Yes, takes the pain meds from her. And then Aria. Mm-hmm. They don't seem to cross. I guess they do kind of cross reference. Never mind. On we just don't get Aria telling people I saw Allie. But shall we dive into this week's flu episode?
Yeah, we don't get Aria telling people much, honestly.
No, that's true. Episode 63, season 3, episode 16, Misery Loves Company. Emily drinks tea with Aria and Spencer, and it's the tea that Meredith had made for Aria. Just kind of pours it, doesn't drink it, I should say. And they smell it, and they think it smells weird. Aria is super sick from last episode, but hasn't heard from Byron since he left for his conference. It's just been her and Meredith holed up at the house. Hannah enters bringing home remedy items, which is magazines, ginger ale, and Saved by the Bell DVDs. Timely reference. We see someone watching them from the outside window, and Aria says it's easier for her to stay here alone instead of going to her mom's, so she doesn't have to try and keep a secret about her dad around her. Aria and Meredith are going to confront Byron when he gets home, but she doesn't want to think that he actually hurt Allison. And if he did, Aria says she'll do the right thing, essentially. This isn't a secret I can keep. Toby sits in the A layer. I did like this peek into this with Toby. Sits in the A layer with Mona. I wrote Toby twice. And looks through a hole in the wall. Mona is doing computer things and says, "We're set for tomorrow." Toby thinks it's too soon, and Mona asks if Spencer has mentioned anything. Toby says she's still lying, saying A went away when they took you to Radley. Mona says, that bitch can keep a secret. I respect that. Mona then puts on a hoodie that was hanging on the mirror like it was like a dress or like some like suit up thing. Toby says we're rushing into this, and Mona says, I'm not the one calling the shots. Fear cuts deeper than a sword. They need to understand that she's in charge. And Toby says, well, then I'll take care of it. We see the outside of an apartment, and then Toby inside drawing up architecture. So this is his apartment above the brew. Emily comes up with coffee, and they talk about her opening up the brew. Toby says he's running over to Spencer's, and the plumber won't be there until 9. Emily's like, no worries, I can like catch up on reading Lord of the Flies. And they talk about how the friends all came together from A, and that like essentially Mona brought them back together stronger than ever. Toby says, well, you have one thing to be thankful for her. And Emily's like, I wouldn't go that far. Toby says Mona has left you alone since she's come back, hasn't she? Emily says she's been a model citizen, like quotes. Toby says, if something happened to you again, you'd tell me, right? Emily says, of course. Toby hands off the keys to Emily to lock up as he leaves. Emily then calls Spencer and says, mission accomplished. I have the keys. Hannah runs outfits by Caleb for a job interview with a designer. Caleb pretends like he doesn't know anything about fashion, but then chooses a dress and like with immense specificity. Hannah then goes to try it on, and Caleb gets a call and says, I'm not going to let her do anything else to Hannah. And Hannah overhears him as she's coming back into the kitchen, but doesn't let on at first. She then asks Caleb who that was, and Caleb tries to lie, saying that it was his mom. And she's like, oh yeah, then why were you talking to her about Mona? They go back and forth over Mona, and Hannah makes Caleb promise not to do anything stupid, which is a dumb promise because Caleb doesn't think he's doing anything stupid, like when he buys a gun. Hannah goes to leave, but turns back.
Well, he was shot now, so you might feel differently about that.
Yeah,
we never get like him reckoning with that.
No, or like really healing. It's like, well, he's like feeling better now.
Remember, it's been 3 weeks. That's what we got in the Halloween episode.
Exactly. It's the same thing with Aria being in a box. Like Paige is freaking out. Everybody else is like, oh, another day.
I always thought, okay, like we didn't really talk about this in that episode. Like I think out of all of them, Aria experienced the worst of the trauma on that particular episode.
Yes.
On the ghost train.
Yeah, because when Emily was locked up in a garage, she had more space and no dead bodies.
No dead bodies. Yeah. She didn't have a dead Garrett next to her.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to throw her off the back of the train.
Yeah.
And like, specifically in that episode, I'm like, and no one, like Aria's just like, you know what? Maybe I won't tell Ezra about Maggie. Like, who cares,
Right?
Girl?
You almost died.
Yeah. Like, no. Like,
yeah, we just moved right past like Aria having to deal with it at all.
Yeah. Aria's losing a lot of, she's being drugged a lot lately.
Uh-huh. Yeah, good God. And then, till later this episode. Hannah goes to leave, but then turns back and sees Caleb on his phone. Toby comes out of the shower with a towel, Toby, and then tries to get Spencer to come over like to his house later. Exactly.
Brenton's getting hot.
Well, I mean, it's just Toby, so we gotta have him shirtless in at least one scene.
Well, you gotta show off his tattoo, 901, free at last.
I know. I never notice it anymore because I don't really show it off. But Spencer is going to a dinner honoring her dad. Spencer notices holes in Toby's jeans and tells him she can fix it.
Like holes in his pockets. She's not like a grandma. Like,
Yeah.
Did you buy them that way?
Yeah. In his pockets. They flirt, and Spencer's like, I'm upset. I'm forced to miss our anniversary. Veronica then comes in to debrief Spencer about Peter's dinner tonight and dismisses Toby and says, put a shirt on, and like hands it to him and makes him go change. She shuts the door and asks how she did. Spencer's like, you did great. He has no clue. Veronica then gives Spencer a family recipe for a lasagna that she made Peter on their first anniversary. It's funny how these things rhyme with like partners keeping secrets from one another.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's got a secret in Rosewood.
Mm-hmm. Meredith looks around the Montgomery house as Aria sleeps. Aria wakes up and Meredith walks over and checks in with her. Aria is going to call Ella but couldn't find her phone. She asked Meredith to tell her mom to call her, and Meredith's like, okay, well. Meredith says, I bet the Paiges... and Meredith is there on her lunch break checking in on Aria. Meredith says, I bet the Paiges are really well hidden, aren't they? And your dad brought this on himself and tries to make sure hey, you hid them safely, right? Right, Aria? But Aria's asleep. Emily and Paige have lunch with like this little table set up. They've got this own little picnic on like a lunch table. They've got a little umbrella. They've got little placemats. Like, do you notice the Fiesta wear? And then Emily asks if Paige found a therapist, and Paige is like, I did. I have an appointment this afternoon. Hannah then comes over to talk to Emily one-on-one, and then, of course, tells Paige, it's like, not any gay stuff, if that's what you're thinking.
Well, she says she needs girl talk, not that you're not a girl. Not girl on girl talk.
Exactly. Hannah takes Emily aside and asks for her to do a favor and follow Caleb. Emily's like, I'm not in the CIA. I don't know how to tail someone. And Hannah then gives her advice on this. And Emily's like, how do you know about how to do this? And it's like, well, my mom was following my dad, like when he was having an affair. And Emily eventually agrees. Meredith walks over to Ella at school. She tells Ella that Aria is feeling much better at lunch. Red flag. And Ella's like, thank you for checking in. Ella goes to call Aria as she walks away from Meredith down the hall, and Meredith pulls Aria's phone out of her bag and denies the call. Emily watches Caleb, which would make Ella more suspicious, but why would my daughter deny the call? I'd probably try and call back. Emily watches Caleb go to his car, then sees Mona leave school and so she's like watching her, but then Mona just goes to a table with other students. Caleb then takes off and Emily goes to follow. Spencer puts the lasagna in the fridge, and we see that the Scrabble board says I love you, and the original words they joked about way back in season 1 when they were playing Scrabble. Toby's apartment is all set up for the romantic evening.
When Brenton first fell in love with Toby.
That's right. Scrabble. Spencer opens a drawer, but doesn't see that there's a badge in there for Radley Sanatorium with Toby's face on it with the name E. Lamb. Hannah walks to the designer that she has an interview with. And as she's like sitting there in the getting ready in the store window or the office window, she sees a blonde in a red coat in the reflection across the street. She turns around but sees no one there. Hannah then walks into the designer's office and calls out for Corinne, the designer, but gets no answer. Suddenly the lights go out and there's all these like mannequins hanging from like chains on like tracks in the ceiling. And there's someone hiding behind them in a hoodie that starts chasing after her. Hannah navigates through the mannequins, but then the person in the hoodie pushes a row of them into her. The hoodie runs off, and Hannah gets a text from A that says, next time you'll be left faceless. Hannah sees a key on the ground with the tag for A. Caleb walks down the street as Emily tails him, and she sees him go into the brew. Emily gets a text from Spencer saying, Hannah was set up. We need to talk now. Or A set up Hannah. We need to talk now. As Emily leaves, we see Paige at the counter in the brew. Paige then walks over and sits down with Caleb and thanks him for meeting her. She says it took so long for Emily and I to be okay. I hate that I have to lie to her now. And Caleb agrees to do the same thing with Hannah, but they must protect them both. Paige and Caleb talk about how they're going to nail Mona into the wall and put an end to all this business. And they want to find the new A layer because the A layer is where they kept all the secrets. And if they find where all that is, then they can get the secrets like hidden away again out of A's hands. And then the girls can go to the cops. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Spencer, Hannah, and Emily debrief.
You don't think that's going to work for them?
No.
Those two? You don't think those two are going to figure it out together?
No. Yeah, when they already don't have all the information on top of like, well, we're here now, we're really gonna like put some rubber to the road. And I'm sorry, Paige, something bad is gonna happen to you with this track record. The track record of this show, like, I know you've already been in danger once, but like Caleb's gonna be fine.
He was shot, but he is a crucial plot point a lot of the time.
Yeah. Paige, I'm sorry, you're on the chopping block.
Oh.
Spencer, Hannah, and Emily debrief. Spencer found that Corinne, the worst thing you can do is stick your nose more in it. Spencer found that Corinne...
Yeah, be like Ezra, stay out of it. Have your own drama.
Exactly, yeah. Don't you have like...
a secret kid?
Yeah, why don't we go back to your parents being mean to you? Spencer found that Corinne... I don't want any of this to happen, by the way. Spencer found that Corinne, the designer, moved to a new town a month ago. Hannah says Mona is getting back at her for cutting her off, and Emily says, no, she was actually at school today. That wasn't her. Spencer says, then A's minion. Emily wonders if, like, Mona built a whole A army. Spencer cautions moving against her because of the pictures of Allie's grave, but they all decide as friends group that they should actually go after her and throw caution to the wind. They can't reach Aria, but they will talk to her tomorrow about this plan. Emily and Hannah wish Spencer fun for her night with Toby. Yep. As everybody just goes, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aria sleeps as someone comes in and checks her dress drawer and around her room. We see the person open up a hatch in Aria's room and like take out the doll. Aria wakes up and sees it's like Allison's old doll. Aria wakes up and sees it's Allie. Allie says, I'm back taking what's mine, and has the pages in her hand, which is hidden in the back of the doll. Aria asks if this is a dream, and Allie says, I'm more real than I've ever been. Aria asks like a relative, like, how is it? Like, assuming like afterlife or something. And Allie talks about having like being able to like have more knowledge and know more about things. Aria asks if she's seen A. Allie says, you've all seen A. I'm surprised Spencer didn't figure that out. Aria asks if the pages are true, and Allie says, I was desperate for that money. Aria asks how she could do that, and Allie says it was just a threat. I wasn't actually going to call your mom. Aria asks if her dad killed her, and Allie says, do I look dead to you? Aria then goes to drink the tea that Meredith got her, and Allie says, I wouldn't drink that. Meredith is looking for these pages too. Allie walks away and says, you know why I picked you, right? Aria wakes up and sees the doll on the dresser. Aria goes to grab the tea, but instead pours it in a plant, and Aria goes to leave her room, but finds it locked. Allie locked her in. Emily and Hannah walked down. Exactly. Meredith had nothing to do with this.
Allie's been alive this whole time, and she's locking Aria in her bedroom. As her first act of showing that she's alive, she stole drugs from Spencer, and then she locked Allie in a room.
Yep, and then forced Meredith to, act erratically. Mm-hmm. Emily and Hannah walk downtown and then see Meredith arguing with the pharmacist, saying like, trying to get a prescription refilled, and the pharmacist is like, I already did that for you a week ago. We can't do that again. You'd have to call your doctor. Meredith then instead grabs a bunch of antihistamine. Aria tries to break out of her room. Emily looks up the drug clorazepam, which is what Meredith is trying to get, which is an anti-anxiety drug, but it also helps people sleep. Meredith leaves the pharmacy, and Emily and Hannah watch her leave, and Emily tries to call and gets Aria's voicemail. Aria breaks a mirror in her, or a handheld mirror, and takes the glass shard with her to bed and hides it next to her. Spencer heads home, or is hanging at home, and hears someone in her bushes when she sees Toby appear in the doorway. He stopped by on his break at work to bring her flowers. Toby notices the key on the counter and asks Spencer about it. Spencer's like, oh, that's Melissa. She left it here. It's for like storage unit in Philly. Toby says, I have to head out, but hopefully I'll get to come home early with like the rainstorm that's happening that like you can kind of hear like coming in, and agrees to call Spencer if he does. Aria wakes up to find Meredith standing above her. Meredith shows her the mirror shard and says, is this what you're looking for? You're clever. I couldn't find those pages anywhere. Meredith then shoves her to stay in bed, and Aria notices that Meredith is gripping the shard so hard that her hand is bleeding. A window bangs from the wind and distracts Meredith enough for Aria to run. Aria goes downstairs and instead of trying to leave, tries to call on the house phone, but it's a big mistake as Meredith appears behind her and hits her over the head. Emily and Hannah arrive at Aria's, and Hannah knocks on the door, and Emily calls for her, but they get no response. Toby drives his truck and gets a call from Spencer saying he's going to make it home before the storm really hits. By the way, it is raining and thundering. Hannah and Emily use the spare key in the bushes to get inside and find the house empty. The power goes out, and they continue to explore. They head up to Aria's room and find it empty, and then Meredith appears behind them and surprises them. She's like, Aria went down to the basement by herself to check on the lights, and we should go down and check on her together. Isn't this a good idea? They follow Meredith downstairs. Meredith opens the basement, and Hannah and Emily go in to check. Meredith shuts the door and locks them in there, and they're like, damn it, we should have seen this. Emily says, I don't think we're alone down here, and they go to look and find Aria on the ground. Aria is awake in the next scene and freaking out. Emily says, there's 3 of us. We can take her down if we give her the pages. Emily sees outside that Byron has come home, and she asks if he's in on this, and Aria is like, I don't know what to believe. Byron comes in and talks to Meredith and says he only heard half the message she left and is wondering what's wrong. Meredith says Aria knows everything. She has proof, and her friends know too. They hear Byron. We then see the friends' perspective, and they hear Byron call down to Aria. He walks downstairs into the basement. He asks if she's okay. He notices the friends are all tense, and he's like, I didn't hurt Allison. We then have a flashback. Byron tells Allison this is the night of Allie's disappearance that Garrett had overseen. This is that conversation. Byron tells Allison he didn't bring any money. Allie says, then we both know how this will end. Byron says, you know this will hurt Aria and you're not that horrible of a person. And Allison says then you don't know me that well at all. The truest statement that maybe Allison has ever said. She yells at him as he walks away, saying that this was his last chance to save himself. And he's like, yes, it was. Byron turns around to then see Melissa leave the house. He overhears Melissa say, what do I have to do to get your attention? Call 911. Present. He says, I was prepared to tell your mom the truth, but then Allison went missing, and the longer she was missing, the harder it became to tell anyone. We see a black hoodie break into the Hastings house. They go and look in the kitchen drawer, and we see Spencer round the corner holding the key, asking if this is what they are looking for. We then see that Toby is in the black hoodie and shocked. Spencer cries and throws the key. Toby turns around and approaches Spencer. Spencer slaps him. Toby asks how long she has known. Spencer shows him the Radley ID badge. Veronica then calls down to Spencer, and Spencer turns around to find Toby gone and the door open like Batman. Veronica asks what's wrong and hugs Spencer as she cries. Aria sits in her living room, and Byron comes in saying the police checked Meredith's apartment, and she's gone. Aria asks why Byron didn't tell the... Yeah. I'll save it. Aria asks why Byron didn't tell them about this when he talked about his affair. Why didn't he say anything about that night with Allison? He says he knew how it looked, and Aria corrects him. It's like, well, how it does look. He asks how she found out, and Aria says, found an old diary of Allie's. Aria pulls out the pages and gives them to Byron. Byron asks why she didn't talk to him, and Aria says, I wanted to, but Meredith had me believing otherwise. Also, it's you. Byron says, if there's any part of you that thinks I would have done this still, and Aria is silent. Byron then resolves to go to the police and tell them about everything. Aria walks over to the fire and says, I believe you, and burns the pages. No way this can come back and bite her in the ass. Spencer goes to Toby's apartment and knocks on the door. She gets out the key to open up the door. She asks inside without opening up and says, tell me tonight wasn't real, that there's more to the story, and there's something she doesn't know going on. There's like music coming out of the, like classical music coming out of the apartment. She falls to the ground crying as the camera pans over, and we see that the hoodie in the apartment is Mona, who's sitting at the table set up that Spencer had meticulously arranged, and enjoys wine, listens to classical music, and smiles. The end.
Oh, I'm supposed to ask you questions now.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what I was coming back to.
I read you read me questions.
Wait, is that my job?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Me, a year into her job, not knowing what it is. Name a more HR person thing. Okay. Question number 1. Mona and Toby's lair. It's a vibe. Who's calling the shots if Mona isn't?
Well, I'll save potential ideas for that theory corner. But I mean, we do get like tangible hints that they at least refer to her as, well, they say she.
Mm-hmm.
So that narrows down our list of suspects of who could be A, or at least the top of the A chain,
or at least the A above them.
Mm-hmm. Right, the A that recruited them.
Yeah, when Mona was like, I'm a boss babe, you're a boss babe, I'd like to boss babe for you. And she was like, okay. And Mona's
and you
like,
get these nice black hoodies and black jeans.
Yeah, and Mona's like, I can bring one underling named Toby and one named Lucas, who is very, very scared all the time.
Right. He's not really on the payroll. He's more of a consultant.
And don't give him a lot of information. He cracks really quickly. Okay, what plan does Toby think A is rushing?
Because it doesn't seem like it's coming out at all. I didn't think like they performed the plan unless it was like plan break Spencer's heart. But I don't think there were any machinations that they really instrumented.
Why would Toby have put that in his desk drawer knowing Spencer was around his house, though?
Right. I guess there could be like set her up that way. And did he know that she was going to be around his house? I guess he must have known that she was going to do the surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess instead of they're cutting off Spencer is the plan.
Mm-hmm.
It seems a little unruly. That's all I'm saying. Like that she was gonna find the thing, that as she was in there, gonna look around, that Spencer was indeed planning to set up his house for their anniversary, and that it was gonna be a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess the plan was crush Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't really seem
Well thought
I
out.
don't no, it didn't seem like this big plan. So I guess it's pretty much just like, yeah, have crush Spencer, I guess is the plan. I don't know.
Toby's like, no, not yet.
Yeah, it kind of, I guess, it kind of felt, if that is in fact I don't know, kind of felt flat to me. But I understand because Spencer kind of organically finds on her own. And so did they really need to like, I guess.
Did she organically find on her own, or was the badge a plant? Was the key dropped in front of Hannah a plant?
Uh-huh. But then, so then for Toby to have to come back and get caught at her house sneaking to get the key.
Or was the key some sort of like, I'm trying to give you a lifeline here? Like, is Toby trying, like, or whoever did it, I guess, is it Lucas, who dropped, I guess, who was with Hannah too?
Mm-hmm. I assumed that the person that was with Hannah was Toby.
Okay.
Wrestle, like,
what about
it seems like Toby is the like muscle right now, moving around, like running
he
shit.
Is the muscle, isn't he?
Yes, that's right. We saw him get out of the shower.
What's the point of joining the A team if you're gonna wear a hoodie and cover up those abs?
I mean, you like the uniform, and whoever it seems certainly casual, comfortable. That's what was the best part is when Mona had it like hanging up on the mirror, like, yes, got to put on like my uniform, like this like casual thing where you could just like go pick up this $20 hoodie.
I mean, it's a symbol.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a plan that they set up to then have Spencer find out and confront Toby and fall apart. But it seems like it could have been less convoluted to get there. Mm-hmm. Toby could have like walked out of her house and like accidentally dropped the badge and then had come back in to get it. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Also, if Toby was the one where Hannah was, who was the person across the street in the red coat?
I feel like a lot of like, well, you think that was also Toby?
Hey, we didn't see them. It could have been.
But he moves fast. I guess
the jacket and the wig.
Yeah, I feel like those scenes are less. I don't take those as there is someone actually like there following them.
Okay.
I feel like that's like a sign of like bad things going to happen to you. It's more like what do you call it? Where there's like fantastical elements, but in a grounded setting, in like a normal setting.
Lynchian.
Yeah, but, yes, but like, what is that type of thing called? Crap.
Uncanny?
No.
Uncanny.
Like magical realism, almost, but I don't know. Maybe it'll come to. I guess magical realism was what I was thinking of, but I don't think that is the definition for what I'm describing.
That's fair.
So either way, I don't take those as real things happening. It's like a symbol of like bad things to come, almost. It's like Hannah ignoring like her instincts that something seems off.
Okay. I like it. Hannah's got good instincts.
Yes, she does.
What's Meredith's angle? What's the why here?
I don't know. Like, we get the confirmation that it's like mental health later. Mm-hmm. That like Byron's like,
I want to cover this all now so we don't have to do it in the next episode.
Yeah, where because that's in the next episode, right? Where he's like, I just got off the phone with her dad. And he's like, that's weird.
Mm-hmm. We villainize the other woman. We use a nice little mental health loophole.
Exactly. Yeah. It would be, I hate that plot point, but damn it if I didn't enjoy the like, oh my God, Aria, she's like drugging you to make you feel worse, like, and like the person's in the house. I do like that. I do like those elements.
Yeah.
So, and Pretty Little Liars is so not grounded or like, soapy. But what's the other? Oh my God, I am just having the hardest time coming up with words today. Like
it's very fun to watch because usually I'm the one who's like struggling to string a sentence together because she can't think to save her life.
Right, like melodramatic, like but in a that's not like necessarily a negative.
Yeah.
So like when you do things like this, it's more like eye rolly. Like I'm not expecting like it to be great, but it is a really bad like representation of like mental health because they just use it to wave things away. Oh, the woman is like quote unquote crazy. She just happens to also have a history also of like mental breaks. So that means like, oh, of course she's going to like attack them because we are in this heightened state where like everybody needs to like attack someone. So we have to come up with a reason. It couldn't be that like Meredith like kind of lost it a little bit with when she felt like her back was to the wall and didn't think that like going to police could also implicate her. No, she also has to have mental problems.
Yeah, it couldn't just be that she was like also just like a shitty person.
Yeah, exactly.
Or she was scared of Byron and like she needed to find it because he wanted her to. Like it could have been he was the big bad and she was just minioning because once again she was in a power dynamic that is inappropriate when they were together.
Right.
Unfortunately, at the time that was happening, and even now, I mean, who's going to get the worst press, him or her?
Right. And the door is still open because we don't know what happens to her. We just know that Byron's like, there was no one at her apartment. She's gone. We don't know how their conversation ends. She just disappears. But I have a feeling that when she comes back later, she's going to be way more erratic. And it's just going to be like...
You think she's coming back?
I do think I do think we're gonna get the specter of like Meredith coming back.
I don't know if we ever see Holden again. Once again,
he was a critical clue, and then he's just gone doing karate in a dojo, so in a like
going
underground
to church
like
functions. This boy's got a robust social life, and I respect it.
And is like at the con parties.
He's everywhere.
Right. But I am assuming Meredith's going to come back and just be like way more erratic and like, it's gonna be like, okay, great. But yeah, and it turned out to be the fear of, I was thinking it's like, okay, Meredith is the bad guy because, you know,
villainize the other woman.
Right. And Byron's the regular. So he's going to be like back around more. So we like don't have a long-term thing for that. So he has to come back to neutral with Aria. And yes, it's, the way, especially like that women in this show, especially are like mentally unstable, is an interesting one. Especially with Mona's like, is her problem actually nothing really? Like she's got it pretty put together. She just like happens to have like a different moral compass than everybody else, or like traveling under a different thing or different goals.
Well, when she gets taken to Radley at the end, they do kind of give that in a sense. Like it seems as if maybe they're trying to indicate that she either faked that or that was part of the plan. Like, it's really, the Mona stuff never really made sense to me either. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Girl boss Mona is my favorite Mona. And the more we can have Mona in girl boss mode, the happier I am. I don't need that, but we didn't need that.
No.
She could have just like pretended to be like, oopsie, you know, like it could have just been like even more like diabolical.
And in hindsight, like, couldn't we have had like a decent enough time of like Mona at prison? And like the exact same things happened. She's able to get out because like bribed security guard, or they have people on the inside.
She would have been a juvie.
Totally. So
where Toby was. They're juvie buddies.
Yeah. Pretty Little Liars. You know, if you're writing for Original Sin season 2, we can pitch some ideas for you.
Original Sin is apparently nothing like this show. I mean, it is, but it isn't. There's a completely different
Riverdale
plot.
People, yeah.
Well, but it's also just it's apparently a lot, from what I've heard. I haven't watched it. It's a lot like not necessarily gorier, but like scarier right off the bat. And it's based, so you know how like everyone is super affluent in Pretty Little Liars. In Original Sin, I believe it is a railroad town or a mining town. I grew up in a railroad town technically, but if
it's a mining town,
it's a lower income area. And so like I think that plays into the plot more.
Right. If it's a mining town, and it's from the guy who wrote Riverdale or created Riverdale and Sabrina, does he have any other towns that he...
I think that might be why I think it's a mining town. Just because he's involved. So it could very much be like a train town, or like just like very like warehouse driven.
Yeah.
Blue collar. It's a blue collar neighborhood.
It's an industry. Yeah.
But not the industry.
No. So yeah, just kind of a
A bummer.
Womp womp. Yeah, bummer. Of a wrap up to that. We had better ideas.
We had better ideas.
Mhm.
And Marlene, if you'd like to redo it, we're open for collaboration.
Exactly. Well, I mean, like I said, we'll pitch some story ideas around for season 2 if it works.
I don't think we could possibly come up with the level of plot that the man who created Riverdale has.
Hey, I'm just saying we got some good ideas here.
Dark Betty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, we can help.
We can help. No, there was Dark Betty. I was saying Dark Betty.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We can help.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could have fixed that.
Yeah.
What are Paige and Caleb going to do together? Besides, Paige is going to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Paige is going to get hurt. They're going to like try and track down Mona, and then it's all going to blow up in their face. What they're going to do is they're going to stick their nose into something. Their friends are going to get mad, and then like it's going to blow up in their face. It's going to cause a rift to happen between their respective partners, and then it blows up in their face that they then have to either get rescued, or maybe they do happen to rescue someone else. But they're never going to get fully brought in.
I'm sorry.
It's
That's so
just
sad.
how it is. It's just never going to happen. There's always going to be something else for like the friends to push them away. So they just can't get anything. And I would be happy to. I'd be more than happy if I was wrong. If the show is going to change tracks of like how it generates its mysteries and like drama, but the drama is always that there's something that the main core friends have that they can't share with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And that changes from episode to episode, season to season.
Caleb gets clued in the most, like throughout
Yes.
the series, you know?
And he has historically so far. I mean, Paige is actually pretty up to date at the moment too.
Yeah.
You know, after she got shoved in a closet. Even before then, actually.
Yeah, that's partially, I think, why, you know. Well, I guess no, because it was just Lyndon.
Yeah.
Lyndon. I always forget that he has
Lyndon James.
nothing to do with the rest of the plot.
Nope. Well, hey, there you go. There's one point on representation for also men be.
Men are also problematic, just in general.
Yeah. Men are also unstable.
Was it really Allie that visited Aria?
No, yeah, this is another dream.
Okay.
That because it is always
Allie's she's dead. She's somewhere wherever they have the body,
right.
Which we still don't know whose body that was.
God damn it. Another 2 episodes. And they just pull one over on me every single time because I'm so worried. They got the keys. Getting so mad that my throat is drying out. They have the keys dangling and I'm distracted. Fucking A. God damn it.
Yeah, you still don't know the body.
No. If Allie is alive, she is not going around and visiting her friends in this way.
But she does say, "Do I look dead to you?"
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
I think that's just opening up the door for fans to continue to speculate on if she's dead or not.
Okay.
And I think in that case, it's like your dad didn't kill me. But it just adds further fuel to the fire with like hand out of the ground. And like
I forgot that you already had the hand out of the ground too.
Right. You know, blonde appearing in trench coat, red coat. Is that her? Other mysterious circumstances of like, is Allie still alive? Which, you know, always a good theory to throw around. But I think these specific visitations are all manifestations of the friends. And like, you know, I think it shows between each of them, like how much Allie still controls their mind, and how much they still want Allison's approval across all of them. Because she always asks, like, you know, I picked you, right?
Why did she pick Aria?
Why did she collect? Aria was probably because she's like very like strong and like morally good, pretty much. So that's like a good person you want in your corner and loyal to like stick with you.
And that's why she picked. That's what she's referring to when she says, "You know why I picked you," right?
Yeah, I think it's like that strong will. Because it's all in reference to her father. And it's like, I know that like if it was your dad, that you would go to the police, and you already said that. And so I think like that's another thing of if it's all in Aria's head that she's having this, it's like that part of Aria that's telling her that she is a good person and doing the right thing.
No.
Yeah.
Like a little self-therapy.
Exactly. Through her friend.
One question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If Allie wasn't there, if that wasn't Allie,
okay.
Why was the doll moved?
Yeah.
Why were the pills taken, Brenton?
Why
Who dragged Emily out?
The Emily one, I am convinced it's like...
It's the most sus.
Right. Or, I mean, at this point, it could be like Toby. Like someone part of an A-team, like someone else was trying to kill like Emily, and so Toby then pulled her out. Like, you know, like one of those like warring A-teams, if we go back and map onto that.
I forgot that we had the Capulets and the Montagues.
That's right. Oh, I can't remember.
You're going to be so excited for the A-team wedding episode.
Yay.
You know, when the leader of one A-team. Actually, no, it's got to be like a forbidden love. So it's got to be like Mona and someone else.
No, Spencer and Toby. Spencer is asleep and Toby comes running in.
But you think Spencer's gonna join the other A-team? Because remember, you have your two A-teams that you think is happening. And that's what I was referring to as the Capulets.
Oh, right. Okay, so it would be... Ooh, this is a good one. Let's see. Okay, so who would be on the other A-team? Yeah, it'd be like Mona and Noel. But that doesn't map either. That's a hard one.
Toby and Noel.
Yeah. Cece and Jason, which is something that we'd maybe get to later. I have ideas.
Oh, okay.
Potentially. Cece's a wild card, so she could be on either one. But
okay.
Yeah.
So why was the doll moved?
Yeah.
Had it been moved? Was it? I guess maybe was it out the whole time? We just didn't see. Because in the dream we see Allie pull it out.
Like pull out of the grate. So it could have been there the whole time. Like much like the pill bottle, I don't think there's a hard explanation for physically why that happened in the story, other than like, curious. Because I don't think there's going to be any answers.
What bedroom door locks from the outside?
Yep, pretty much.
You don't have to
God knows. Oh my God, Aria, what fucking house were you living in?
Your parents hate you.
Yeah.
They would like you to die in a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Much like Meredith coming down, it's just like, I have a case in the like case of wine in the basement. Just come down and check a look at it.
How long has Spencer known about Toby if she was able to set this up? Was it when she was at his house?
I think it was when she like was at his house. And I think when she opens up the drawer and we see her like still going around sitting up, I think then she comes back and sees it. Was my interpretation. And then did the trap with the key to see if he would
fall for
bite.
it.
Yeah. So convoluted.
Is Byron as innocent as he claims? If you were on a jury, would you convict?
I would say he is, but it's... No. There's going to be something else that we're going to come back up. I'm going to say he is, but there's going to be a complicating factor. Because I think we're going to go round and round with this, like, asshole. That it's just going to be... We're going to find out something else that Byron might have done later in a season from now, but then it's also going to exonerate him. I don't think he's ever actually... in terms of like done anything against Allison or something, but maybe later it's like we find out that he let on Meredith a little bit, like he more than he like talked about or Allison, but like he didn't actually hurt them, sort of thing. So yeah, we gotta keep Byron in here somehow, and we have no other tools other than that he has to just be a bad guy, which is fair, but mileage may vary.
Yes. Sorry to interrupt. I thought you were done. You mentioned that Aria destroying the evidence will bite her in the ass.
Yes.
Why and how?
This is what I'm referring to. That sometime in the future, there's going to be some complicated factor about her father, and she's going to be like, God damn it, why did I not burn the pages? Why did I burn the pages and not go to the police? Also, in this scenario... letting him do this thing of like hanging himself and like going to the police to further this like would only benefit Aria. Like there's no way this would like really come back on her. for her dad like going to the police and like talking about this and like adding more evidence on like what happened to her friend that night. Like I don't really that's not really gonna like come back and bite her.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, okay, let your dad like do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if the police find something, then they find something. You let them then continue to like dig into your father, and then like maybe something else comes up.
Agreed. Why does Spencer not just walk inside Toby's house to see that it's Mona? She unlocks the door.
Yeah, but doesn't go inside.
Mm-hmm.
She's just so upset. She doesn't want to see him, but she wants him to confirm and then come out and clear this all up. It's just all a bad dream. I guess that's the best way I could think about it.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want to see it, you know. She doesn't want to see him unless there's a confirmation that he is in fact doing this for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because it's so heartbreaking.
All right.
You know, the big emotional core relationship split.
Do you think that that's that, or do you not think that it's Hannah and Caleb?
Spencer and Toby have the like most feelings. It's the most like big sweeping romantic couple that we have, and so
Hannah and Caleb are basically married at this point.
Right. And when they like were on the outs and like broken up and stuff like that, it was like, I'm just mad at you. And this, it's like Spencer is now like, she's just absolutely devastated. I mean, it's a way different. No, I wasn't gonna say way different like lies, but like Caleb was also like spying on like Hannah, so like that's only how the show depicts it.
Well, it's how far you are in the relationship.
Right, that's true. And Toby is taking on more of a role in like he's wearing the uniform and everything, and then goes, it isn't showing remorse.
Caleb was a contractor, and Toby is a boss babe. He bought in.
Mm-hmm.
He bought his goodies so that he could then sell the knives or whatever it is.
Well, yeah, and that's when you get the hoodie. That's like part of, you have to sell like so much.
Yeah.
And then you get the hoodie and you get the jeans.
The jeans.
It's got to be matching.
Okay. Well,
and then they give you your own Allison wall picture starter kit.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love your own A-layer starter kit. We should just build one on our wall.
Perfect.
It'd be
Nothing
terrifying.
better. It would.
Yeah, people would be like, this couple needs help.
Why the yellow top all the time?
Yeah, why didn't they let that poor girl wear a different shirt that night? A t-shirt would have been nicer.
Something else.
Okay, those are my final questions on this episode.
Okay. We ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Episode 64, Season 3, Episode 17, Out of the Frying Pan into the Inferno. Spencer and Toby make out. But then it cuts to a person in a hoodie choking Spencer, and Spencer wakes up in her room. She notices the A key on her side table. Emily talks to Aria about how they haven't been able to reach Spencer and that she like needs to like talk to Melissa. That's like another thing that like Melissa revealed like last episode. It's like, yeah, she was in the house. She was there.
Yeah, but who was she talking to?
Right. Emily.
Why does Byron remember verbatim what she said?
Right, that's true. Emily, great memories, these people. Emily wonders what Melissa was up to, and Aria says maybe we should hold off. Emily hangs up as Pam walks in with a box. It came in the morning, and Pam was wondering whether she should give it to Emily or not. It's from the James family, and Emily's like, I don't know a James family, and Pam's like, well, the guy who tried to kill you. Pam offers to take it to the police station. Emily says, no, he just started working there, and they'll have a million questions. Emily opens the box to find cards she made for Allison, and says Maya must have found them in Allison's house. Pam tries to like take the box back, and is like, Emily, don't you want to just come downstairs and hang with the family? And Emily's like, no. Emily digs through the box as Pam then resigns herself to let Emily look through it. Emily finds a notebook labeled biology and looks through it. Hannah is at home, and we see her chat log on her computer with Caleb saying he can't meet up tonight. Ashley comes in and asks how Hannah hurt her arm, and Hannah says in gym, and assures her mom it's fine. Ashley asks her about Mona, and Hannah says she's not trying to she's not just going to avoid her all the time. And Ashley said I'm just trying to protect you. I'm just trying to protect. But Hannah cuts her off and saying, "Why do you think I need protection?" Ashley's like, "Protect your education so you aren't distracted by like Mona always being there. Is something else happening?" Hannah says, "No, I don't need another Cape Crusader." And Ashley's like, "Is someone else being a Cape Crusader?" And it's like, is this Caleb? Is he messing with Mona? And Hannah tells her to leave it alone. Byron is on the phone, wishing someone a full recovery. He then tells Aria he's on the phone with Meredith's father, and Meredith's like, that must have been weird.
Aria's like, that must have been weird.
Good Lord.
It's okay. I just
Must have been weird for Meredith, too.
like, she's in the room. Is Meredith
Right.
in the room?
I hope not. Meredith has a long history of issues and stopped taking her meds. He said we didn't want Meredith. I told him we didn't want Meredith punished. We just want her treated. He affirms to Aria that he won't let her near her family, and she shouldn't have been in here in the first place. Byron then looks at Aria and says, I haven't done a very good job of protecting, doing that, have I, Aria? And she just kind of looks at him. Emily, Spencer, and Aria are walking, and Hannah they're walking all together and meet up with Hannah. Hannah asks if Spencer is still recovering from the anniversary dinner and if he liked the surprise. And Spencer's like, yes, it was a surprise. Aria asks about Caleb and says Hannah should confront him about what he's been doing. Hannah says, you're one to talk. You've got a secret the size of the Matterhorn you're sitting on. Aria says she's going to tell Fitz about that today. Aria asks Spencer what's wrong with her, and Spencer's like, I'm just going to go skip the brew, and we'll catch you all later at lunch. Goodbye. So it was I wrote it wrong. It was Hannah and Aria, and then they meet up with Emily at the brew. Mm-hmm. And they ask if they can see the items from the box she received. Emily asks if Spencer told them about the A key, and Aria says we're like, yes, she did, but we're not prepared to go tell the cops about A. Hannah then reviews the biology notebook and is like, oh, I hated biology so much. But I didn't know you were in bio with Allison together, Emily. And Emily's like, I wasn't. Allison borrowed my notebook for the exam. Hannah points
to which I realized that then she never got that notebook back.
No.
She had to go all year without her bio notes.
Uh-huh. I can see Emily being like,
I guess if it was the end of the year.
or
Because they were in summer.
oh yeah, that's true. It would have been.
So
So then Allison just held
used
on
it
to
for finals and then just never gave it back.
Yeah. Emily would also be the person I could just go get another one. Hannah points out the back and forth notes between someone else's handwriting and Allison's. They see a reference to a beach hottie, and the other person tells Allison to tell them tonight, but Allison pushes back on that. Aria asks why Allison's writing about Toby. Aria leaves a message for Fitz, but Hannah says you should go talk to him now. Hannah walks over to see Paige on the phone, saying, you shoved a brain in her locker, and she showed up with a smile the next day, confirming that Caleb is the one who did that. Paige then says, Caleb, I'll do it. It's okay. I'll be there around 7. Emily finds Spencer in the bathroom, saying she's been looking for her. She shows Spencer the notebook, and Spencer is like, I don't recognize the handwriting, and Spencer just looks off and hands it back to her. And Emily's like, this is important, and puts it back in front of her. It's this is about a guy that Allison was secretly involved with. Was Ian a lifeguard? Spencer's like, I don't know. Melissa would no, though. I gotta go. Spencer stops her and says Allison was afraid of something. Spencer says maybe Allison was afraid because she was slutting it up all over and she wasn't loyal, and why should we even care about her? And Emily's kind of taken aback by this, but it says because we do, and makes Spencer read it. Emily then says Allison visited Toby when he was shipped off to juvie. Flashback. Allison is let into Toby's room. He is wearing what looks like a softcore porn prison uniform with a do-rag on.
He's wearing a black button-down shirt like you would wear to an office or a wedding, unbuttoned.
Right. And then wearing a do-rag. It's just it's hard here in prison. I told Emily he looked like one of the hot cops from Arrested Development. It's really good. She dumps papers on his bed, and he's like, what are these? Allison says, you know what they are, and it's time to quit the pen pal routine. And she's like, this has to stop. Toby looks at them and says they're all from and sees that we can see that they're all signed from someone with A. Allie says, don't lie to me. And Toby says, why are you convinced it's me? Jenna would love to see your head on a spike. Allison says, Jenna was in surgery, and then makes a reference to how blind Jenna is. Toby dismisses her, and Allie said, I wasn't the only one outside the garage. Why aren't you harassing them? Toby said, I wish I know who wrote those notes. You and your friends deserve a lot worse. Allison says, I bet you wished you kissed me when you had the chance. Back in the present, Spencer cries and tells Emily that her and Toby. Well, first Emily goes, "Are you sad about like Allison trying to hook up with Toby? Like that was like so long ago, and like they didn't." But then Spencer tells Emily that her and Toby broke up last night, but she's not ready to talk about like the reason why or talk about it. Can we just keep it between us? And Emily agrees. Spencer sits in an English study group. They're talking about the Crucible. And a group is discussing how a girl like started believing her own lies within a group, and like was like starting out like against them, but then eventually started believing them, her own lies. Spencer gets a text from Aria saying Fitz freaked out and broke up with me. Like, can you meet me at the park? We also see that Ella comes into the classroom to talk to the teacher. Spencer gets up and goes to walk out, and Ella stops her and is like, "Hey, what's wrong?" And Spencer freaks out and is like, "I don't need school. This is stupid, reading about fictional people with fictional problems. People have real problems." And runs out. Spencer rides her bike to the park. Sees Fitz sitting at a bench. She then runs up to him and is like, "How could you do that to her?" Fitz is very confused, and Spencer's like, "You think it's easy to find out a secret like that? Why don't you go after Maggie? She's the one who kept like your child from you." And Fitz is like, "What are you talking about?" And Spencer immediately shuts up and is like, "You didn't have a conversation with Aria?" And Fitz is like, "What are you talking about?" And Spencer then runs off. Pam gets coffee. That's the best way for Fitz to find out. Pam gets coffee at her job at the police station. The officer that we see like kind of come around a lot asks how the family is. And Pam is like, "So Emily's doing okay, and Wayne is off in Texas, as he always is." Pam asks him about the package she received and like, should she be worried that like the James family knows her address? Wilden then overhears and says the family shouldn't be contacting them at all. And he's like, "If you want, we can contact them to say all future correspondence should come to the station." And Pam says, "I'll think about it." This is like the most... I'm probably reading too much into it, but then I'm just like, this makes me suspicious of Wilden of being involved with one of the A teams. Janice team specifically. Emily looks through the notebook and finds a photo of Cece and Allie. Aria sits at lunch with Hannah and asks if she heard from Spencer and her mom. If heard from Spencer. My mom said she just stormed out. Emily joins them at the lunch table. They see Fitz standing in the courtyard. He runs over and asks to talk to Aria. He asks, as a bunch of people are like, "Hey, Mr. Fitz, welcome back." They don't, but like... Man, going back to the scene of the crime. He asked why Spencer was talking about Maggie, and she said, "I have a son." Aria calms him down and is like, "We need to go talk outside." Fitz says, "You've been holding on to this since my birthday, you and Wes?" Aria says, "I was scared and thought Maggie would tell you." And then Fitz says, "She's not a part of my life. You are. You're the one I'm supposed to trust." Aria says, "You're right." And Fitz leaves. Aria gets a text from A that says, "Thought you needed a little push, so I pushed send for you." Pam is at the station. Wilden walks over to talk to her and asks how Emily feels about Pam working here. Pam asks if he's wondering if we're like, or like, it's like, okay, it's whatever. Like, and he like, then he like falls down this weird path of like considering like, oh, this like dangerous town. It used to not be like this. And Pam's like, "Are you wondering if we're moving?" Wilden's like, "I would consider it, but like, no matter where you move, you take secrets with you. What happened at that lighthouse is something a young person can process and haunt you forever. My second week out of the academy, I had to defend myself. And like, I had killed someone like the way like I was trained to do, but I was too ashamed to discuss it." Pam asked when he finally started to start talking about it, and he says, "Just now." So Wilden definitely shot a minority.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. He was in a officer involved shooting, and definitely got like 2 weeks probation or suspension, and then is right back. Spencer heats up dinner and grabs scissors out of the drawer to take off the wrapping, and like looks at the scissors like, oh, weirdly. Aria comes in saying she tried to call her, and that like her mom like told her about it, but like what happened at school, but like she wouldn't call. She's not going to call your parents. Spencer says, "That's not why you came, and I know I shouldn't have said anything to Fitz." And Aria's like, "Yeah, whatever." And then it's like, "Can we just skip to the end where you scream or cry?" And Aria's like, "What are you talking about? Like, I know you were set up by A." And Spencer said, maybe if we didn't keep secrets, A wouldn't have power. And Aria's like, really? Are you serious? You're just gonna like blame this like on us? And it's just Spencer's like, it's all our fault, man. Don't you see that? And then like Aria's like, okay, whatever. Goodbye. Tried to have a normal conversation with you. Emily shows Cece the photo. Emily asks who the beach hottie was. Cece's like, I don't know. Allie never told me his name. Allison had a lot of nicknames for people. There were a lot of hotties there that summer. Emily asks if Jason would have known him. Cece says if he did, he would have made them sorry they looked at his little sister at all. And then she has a flashback. They were, this is the summer that they hung out together, and they're at the Crab Shack. Sorry, 1 minute. I just wanted to... Cape May. They're at Cape May. Mm-hmm. And they're hanging at the Crab Shack. Cece tells someone, like, they should call Jason to leave the damn weed and meet up with them. Cece then sees Allison start to approach from a long way off, and, like, she looks, like, sad. Cece goes up to talk to her. Allison's like, I'm in real trouble. I'm late, and it's been 2 weeks. This hasn't happened before. Cece says, like, have you told, like, the other person that you were with? And Allison says, I can't. If he finds out, he'll kill me. In the present, Cece's like, I'm not a doctor, but she certainly thought she was pregnant. Aria calls Hannah, and Hannah's following Paige. Tells Aria she found out about Caleb and, like, Paige's secret plans at lunch today, but I just didn't have a chance to, like, catch up with you since the whole Fitz thing. Aria tells her to be careful, and Hannah hangs up. Paige is out at the same lesbian bar talking to some girl, which we see is Shauna if you watch the web series. Otherwise, it would just be like, who is this? Hannah notices that it's a gay bar. Spencer writes a text asking if someone is willing to meet up tonight. The person replies yes. Spencer says, I shouldn't be talking to you. No one can know about this. They reply, no one will. Paige continues to talk to Shauna, and Hannah notices them. Hannah gets a drink purchased for her from a girl across the bar. Aria texts Fitz asking if they can talk, please. Byron comes home and asks how she's doing. He offers to make her dinner, and she smiles. There's a knock at the door, and Byron opens to Emily. Emily and Aria catch up on the Allison news outside. Emily says if the pregnancy was really early on, it wouldn't have shown up on the autopsy. Aria says this needs to be turned over to the police, and Emily agrees. Emily says, I'm okay to go to the station alone. My mom now works there. I'll call you later. Aria gets a text and looks at it funny. Hannah watches Paige and Shauna talk, but gets like super close to them to the point where like it was like the distance between us.
Yeah, and she's like right behind them too.
And then like ducks down to get away from them. Accidentally pops up near the girl who bought her the drink and like kind of stops to dance a little bit. And then the girl, we can only assume the girl's girlfriend comes up and it's just like, who the hell is this? And pours her drink all over Hannah. Emily talks to her. Oh yeah, and then and then we see like a security person come up and ask for her ID.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that chain of events. Emily then talks to her mom at the station. Pam asks why the cops would want this, and Emily's like, I don't know. Allison wrote it, and it includes something about someone wanting to hurt her. Pam says, I'll find out like who to give this to, and gets up. Spencer sits in her car and tries to put on eyeliner and cries. She applies some lipstick as well, but has a really tough time like holding it together and leaves her car. Hannah arrives at the police station. Emily wonders what she's doing there. Hannah's like, I got busted for underage drinking. I was at this club. And Emily's like, what club were you at? And Hannah's like, you wouldn't have heard of it. Wilden comes over and says, your mom told me you had something I should see. Hannah is shocked, but Emily's like, we needed to like bring this in. Wilden takes the notebook and says, you did the right thing. Emily's like, we can end this game now if we can get this like submitted, over with, and the police on their trail. Emily then goes to get coffee and is shocked. She sees a picture of Wilden pinned up on the wall of him in Cape May with other guys wearing police academy shirts. Spencer meets with a guy at a diner and says she was afraid he wouldn't show up. And he's like, you're 18, right? She asks how it works, and he says, however you'd like it. She hands over the A key and a photo of Toby, and she says, Toby and her, and she says, follow him, he'll lead you there. She then takes the photo out, she's like, wait 1 minute, and rips herself out of the photo, and he's like, I'll be in touch. Ashley and Hannah get home, and Ashley wonders what Hannah was doing at the club. Hannah's like, I followed Paige because I thought she was meeting up with Caleb, duh. Ashley says, we're getting to that place again where I sense you're keeping things from me. And it says, well, it may have ended up okay, because what my mission tonight, because I prevented Emily from getting hurt. Paige might not be a one-girl girl. Ashley is like, well, maybe you should stay out of it. Fitz leaves his apartment with bags packed. Aria stops him and is like, I thought we were meeting in your apartment tonight. He's like, it's all right. I spoke with Maggie and she told me she asked you to keep quiet. Like, so it's okay. He's like, we're okay. Don't worry. But I don't know how I feel about all this. I'm going to go meet my son. I'm leaving tonight. I don't know how long until. Aria asks if she can call him and he pauses. We see that he cries and he turns around and says, we'll talk soon. He gets in his car and leaves.
Kisses her on the head.
Yeah, see you later if you're going to be like this. We see a...
What if I did that to you and you were like super emotional and I was like, see you later if you're going to be like this?
Well, it's
no, you're not.
It's not Aria's fault.
Yes, yeah. No, I just
I don't know
how callous you were. Well, fine then. If you're going to cry, I'm going to go.
I don't understand.
Yeah, he's very emo for no fucking reason.
Why push Aria away? I don't know. But we get our final A scene as we see a dollhouse with a bunch of Bratz dolls in it, like representing one each of the friends, we can assume. We then see bobbleheads made of the 4 girls. We see the back of a red coat, and then a blowtorch lights up and torches the Hannah bobblehead. The end.
Do you think it's a clue that the woman who plays Mona was also in the Bratz movie?
I thought that was a nice nod, yeah. Since we watched that Mike's Mike recap on the Bratz movie, I'm like, oh, I bet this is a nod, like that.
Only Bratz are Bratz.
Mm-hmm.
That was from the commercial. From the doll commercial, not the movie. I've never seen the movie.
I haven't either. But yeah,
I know what we're doing tonight.
I'm like, oh, this has to be a nod to her being part of that movie.
Okay, so why did Toby not take the key with him before he skedaddled like Batman?
Oh,
you know how Batman skedaddles?
So Spencer throws it.
So did he take a fake key?
No, she throws it at Toby, and isn't it like on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
So then, and Toby books it out of there.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't take the key though.
Well, right. I don't think it was. He probably would have had to like forge on the ground. He was trying to get out of there before Veronica came down. Mm-hmm. Like he just tried to get out of there.
Okay.
So I think it was unintentional. But it could also be that Toby, is just like, follow the clues because like I'm working from the inside.
You want to believe that so bad?
I want to believe it. Yeah.
When is
But
Spencer...
I think it's way more complicated. I do think Toby is working from the inside, but I think it's way more complicated than just like, I like you, Spencer.
When is Spencer gonna tell the girls about Toby?
Hopefully soon. We don't. It's very. We're back to erratic Spencer, and that's not my favorite. I like Spencer where she's like erratic, but she's like chasing a lead.
Mm-hmm.
We get her very. She's not. None of the like of her being upset scenes have like logical consistency with World. I understand like her getting like mad at like school and it's just like I'm completely devastated, like fuck all this.
Mm-hmm.
But like the thing with like Aria, it's like it's all our fault.
Mm-hmm.
Like we brought this on ourselves. Is I just hate that she's like that we're forcing her to intentionally push everybody away.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just being like, yeah, I'm absolutely devastated. We need to like go like. She doesn't really want to figure this out, but like, so that's why she's like keeping it. But it's not the fun type of like erratic. I was hoping she was like gonna go Joker mode of just like, haha, nothing matters, nihilistic, like laughing, cackling.
You're gonna like where Spencer ends the season. The journey to get there is gonna be an adventure.
Well, we're pretty. No, we've got.
You're
like
not close enough to avoid it. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be.
It's an arc. It's an arc. I don't think it's the worst arc on the show, and I'll say that proudly. It doesn't beat Meredith.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. It's not great, but it's just like really, I don't really.
Okay. Speaking of Spencer, let's talk about her meltdown really quick. Her telling Ezra about Maggie is like
it's top tier.
A+.
That's so good.
It was like, what if I just send a little texty-roo
And it's so like
off Aria's phone, Z?
Yeah, off Aria's phone, which is like now we get that A can
Ace copied like their SIM cards or something. I mean, I don't remember how technology worked then.
I don't either. Or if you can get like remote access onto like internet controlled phones at that time. I don't know if Aria is on like a smartphone.
The mobile device management. It looks like she's on a BlackBerry.
Oh yeah, so potentially like can just like remote in and like use it there.
Or like a BlackBerry style. I don't know if it's technically.
Right. But this is the first time we've gotten like impersonating someone else, which is huge.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, the way that Fitz finds out is like Spencer freaking out and like trying and like admonishing and like pouring all of her own. This is the type of erratic I'm talking about. Of pouring all her own feelings onto him. Like this isn't even about Aria, but she's yelling at him because she feels like, "How fucking dare you?" is so good. Okay. And then him just being like stunned. It's like the best way for that to like unravel. Rather than teary Aria.
What do we think the PI is going to find for Toby and Day?
A connection back to more connection that fleshes out his time at
his juvenile center?
Yes, and then a subsequent connection to Mona. It's going to be like some tenuous thing. It's just like Mona and Toby are in a picture somewhere or something.
Oh, so
like,
you think they're going all like he's been part of this from the beginning?
I think there's been some floating things of like trying to entice him into this.
Okay.
Yeah. Or it would be like like correspondences from Allison. Yeah. I have some theories about how this all got started.
Okay. Would that be part of your theory corner, or do you want to jump into them now?
Theory corner.
Okay. Speaking of Toby and Juvie, Allison's visit, as you already shared your quote, he looks like a hot cop. Mm-hmm. It did in fact make me laugh until I cried. Because it's correct. I don't understand that scene. I don't understand the necessity of that scene.
Of like how, oh, right. Yeah.
One, his outfit, but two, even like for the plot, you could have just said like, she thought Toby was doing it. He wasn't.
Right. It could have been like, there's this passage in the notebook and then they have it like, they just, you know, they're having fun, I guess, but it's really funny.
But God, at what cost?
It could have just been an offhanded thing. Mm-hmm. See, I think that's the type of thing that the PI is going to dig up is like more like correspondence or like information that way.
Fair enough. Wilden is back again, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is his involvement? Besides being frustrating.
Yeah, my idea now is that he is on, because I do think that I will never get over this connection to Jenna from that party.
Okay.
And that there is some like longer connection. I don't think the Cape May thing is going to turn anything up.
Okay.
He was there at the same time. But
I can still recall our last summer.
Down at Cape May, Allison got knocked up.
And potentially then met her murderer.
Exactly. It could be Wilden that got her knocked up because he has a proclivity for young women.
Ew.
Uh-huh. But I think he's going after the girls intentionally as part of being part of another team.
Oh.
Probably potentially as a contractor.
Okay. Speaking of Cape May.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Beach Hottie? Do we know Beach Hottie yet, or do we not know?
We definitely know Beach Hottie at this point. Okay. I think we gotta know Beach Hottie, so that's why I think you can connect it back to Wilden.
So you think Wilden is Beach Hottie?
He's a suspect.
Okay.
I don't think confirmed.
Okay.
But I think Beach Hottie is someone is in town that is like a side character like Wilden that would be potentially connected. It wouldn't be like a classmate because they're older. Because then, you know, she would have seen him at school and she would probably have a different nickname for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the connection there.
Okay. Ezra, why are you showing up at school to talk to your high school girlfriend?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You are a grown man, sir. Also, why is he mad at his teenage girlfriend for handling a very adult, convoluted situation poorly? One that he is not handling well, and neither did the mother of the child.
The best part is that, like, I think if your teacher showed up at school and started talking to your classmate like that, it's like, oh my God, the rumors are true. It's just like, hey, Mr. Fitz, what are you doing back?
Well, everyone knows they're dating now because he's not there.
Everybody knows, you think? Got it.
They're not hiding anymore.
Right. So,
I have another bullet point that was why is Ezra so annoying, but I think we can let that go. I like that I wrote that. Like, I was like so annoyed. I was like, and again.
God damn.
One more time with gusto.
No, but you're totally right. That she's a high schooler. Like, why would you expect this to be handled? And also, like,
she's closer in age to your brother.
Right. Yeah, you don't think that there's like more complicated things that you should maybe hear out your girlfriend on, no matter, well, hopefully she's older, on like what happened. Like, this is about a mother and a son, so there's got to be more to it than this. This isn't something that Aria did, which is the craziest part. So,
what are Shauna and Paige up to?
I think they're just old friends meeting back up. And that it's, well, or maybe it's just like it's a old girlfriend or something, because she did have that time like where she had come out of the closet and like Emily and her had already gone to this bar. But then Emily and her didn't work out. Emily was with Maya. Or Samara. So I think Paige could have kept going back to the bar and like met people, and like Shauna is just a friend. Shauna is going to be something more, obviously, in the story, as we already know through the web series, but I think at least her connection to Paige is just another like person that she gets along with or potentially dated.
Okay.
I think it's completely innocent.
Okay.
Unless she gets dragged into the Caleb, unless we are backfilling that the Pretty Dirty Secrets that takes place before the Halloween train. Okay, never mind.
Nope, can't. Yeah,
never mind.
Why?
I was gonna say that like she was already part of Caleb. That like Pretty Dirty Secrets took place like after.
Yeah.
Paige and Caleb on the case,
but she's working at the Halloween store.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Why is A in a red coat at the end? Presumably.
Yeah.
A Vivian Dark Bloom coat, if you will.
Yeah.
The same coat we saw with Mona.
Oh,
when she was in Radley.
Yes, that approached Radley. So, like, is this Big A? Potentially.
She's got big coats and big hair, you know?
That's right.
Bigger the hair, the closer to God.
It's Dolly.
Oh my God, no! If the show had gone that direction, what could have been? If Dolly went on Hannah Montana because of Miley Cyrus, we could have had Dolly on Pretty Little Liars, right?
Yep, you wasted your guest star on Adam Lambert.
Yeah, because I'm sure Dolly and Adam Lambert are in the same price range.
And also for Dolly to be the big bad. So I think
it would just be like the best laugh too, if she was like,
whatever. So I think that's the Big A is wearing red coat.
Okay.
It's my best guess. I don't know.
Well, do you want to take us to your corner?
Well, yes, I would love to. My favorite corner, as established last week. But first, we've gotta check in.
That's the YouTube, honey.
Nope, that's the YouTube. Hey, everybody, see our stats.
This is why we need your support.
Cutting that out. And so we are visiting once again the timeline of the day Allison went missing. Again, question mark on whether Allison visited Jenna at the clinic and threatened her. Our favorite, Duncan, important cog in all of this. Allison flies back to Philly.
He was really just a ride.
Exactly, really. Outside of Philly, courtesy of Duncan. Allison arrives back in Rosewood via taxi. Spencer notices the luggage tags for Hilton Head. Jenna is then picked up from the clinic by Garrett. R.I.P. Allison gives Emily the snow globe, which has the storage locker key, which then has the NAT club footage in there. Good Lord. Spencer, Emily, and Hannah arrive at Spencer's house for the sleepover. Aria then arrives. Allison arrives at the barn and scares all the friends. Allison and Spencer fight inside Spencer's house about Allison telling Melissa about her involvement with Ian. Toby sees Allison get in a car with a boy, unconfirmed, but probably Ian.
I like that you have a photo of Toby with his original hair, like emo Toby.
Yep, this stays. We've had this slide for a while, and I'm not changing it.
No, of course. Why would you? There's not a better photo of Toby. Trust me.
Yeah. Aria wakes up to see Allison missing and finds Spencer arriving back at the barn, who tells her that Allison's missing. Allison meets with Ian, and they film the "I Know You Want to Kiss Me" video. Ian, Garrett, and Jenna search Allison's room and find the box. This is the box that Jason later gives to Aria. Ian sets up a camera, and Garrett and him fight over it. They hear someone walk upstairs, and it's Melissa entering and demanding where she is. Garrett and Jenna leave Ian and Melissa to talk and run into Allison in the yard. An altercation ensues, and Garrett pretends to kill Allison. Garrett then returns later to the backyard and sees Allison and Byron talking. Allison tries to extort Byron for more money, but he doesn't take it. He goes to leave and sees Melissa stepping outside to talk on the phone.
It was a night of nights.
Jesus Christ.
Baby, we ain't even all the way there yet.
I know we got a ways to go. But
how many pages do you think this deck is going to be when you finally have the final timeline?
I mean,
I don't remember what episode we get all the details.
It'll probably be five or six, I'm gonna guess. We got 3 so far. I know we've got a lot more to cover.
Mm-hmm.
But let us now step into the station. Theory Corner, welcome to Theory Corner. Everybody, we know, Your Honor, that at least
This is not a courtroom, it's an office.
As per my theories, we have 2 separate crews. One with Jenna.
One
Mona
doing
on the other
Herbalife, one doing...
Cutco.
Oh.
And nice.
Well, Cutco tried to hire me once when I was in high school. They sent me a thing in the mail to try to get me to go do their thing.
You didn't want to do it?
I went to the thing to see what it was because I thought it was fun. And then they're like, you have to buy these knives. And I said,
no, thank you.
No, thank you. I said, oh, isn't this a multi-level marketing scheme? Is this a scam?
Mm-hmm. So Team Cutco is Mona, Toby, and Lucas as contractor / extorted person. Other team, Team Herbalife, is Jenna, Noel, and question mark. And I think Melissa. So NAT Club is how we will put that there. Jason seems to be involved with the Mona crew, Cutco. Mm-hmm. Is that just because of whatever was agreed upon over the cash settlement? Maybe. Does it have something to do with the body bag or Jason's past? Or is Jason... what was that money guaranteeing? We don't know. But that seems to be involvement, and it seems he interfaced with Lucas to pass that off. And so is he not part of that team willingly? And if he's not part of that team willingly, then could we also assume that maybe Cece is part of that team? And so he's not comfortable working on this team, but he's forced to work next to her, and she's kind of happy about this. We know that Cece might have a little bit of a bully streak in her. Not really confirmed.
Not her.
Yeah, not really confirmed, but like kind of confirmed. And so is Cece part of that team? I think so. And so do I think this team is set up around getting revenge on the friends for like how they used to treat people, how they were involved with like Allison's machinations? Is this also maybe a mandate handed down from Allison? I'm not sure about that. That there's some sort of torch passing there, but either know that they are definitely, potentially, not definitely.
No, I like this. Say it in absolutes. It'll be way more fun later.
After the friends in this way. And I think that's like part of like the original pitch to Toby. I don't think Toby comes on originally at first, but he's contacted about this.
So he got the letter in the mail from Cutco.
Exactly. But later joins to protect Spencer.
Buys his knives.
From the inside. He's trying to, like, you know, that could be like what, you know, why he dropped the keys and stuff like that. He's intentionally trying to lead her down the path because he knows that she'll follow. And so he has to get involved to, you know, try and protect her. Mm-hmm. Which, dumb idea. Dumb. And so I think on the other side is they're also trying to get revenge on, like, the NAT club, which could be the relationship to Allison originally, if it was like something related to Allison being bullied by these people. They are getting revenge on the people that used to, like, rule the school, get revenge on other people, bully other people. It's kind of like a vindictive club that way, of like the people of righteously getting back at people that were, like, not being nice to other people and also, like, doing, like, really creepy shit like the NAT club was. And the NAT club crew is trying to protect their ass.
Okay.
That's what I think where we're at now.
Okay.
With Theory Corner. And so Allison could potentially still be alive and could be still managing this. She could be Big A. But in terms of who else could be Big A, I mean, Cece could be Big A, running this stuff. Like, trying to know, like, yeah, like, she's in charge. There could also be some other twist of, like, who Big A could be, which I have a bit of a hard time pulling in who else it could be, whether it's one of the friends or something. But, like, the emphasis on she gives us a good path. So, like, you know, I like to point the finger at Melissa a lot, but I think Melissa is just a grade A level menace on the other side trying to protect her butt.
One of the more misogynistic takes at this time is Meredith A? Because was she trying to expose Byron so she could be with him?
Oh, I do think that it does kind of seem like we needed to talk to your daughter so, like, we can be together and be okay. Mm-hmm. That's how it read to me, and I was like, but yeah, I don't think Meredith is important enough to merit A status.
I don't think she boss babes close enough to the sun.
No, she gaslights and gatekeeps physically. But
is she boss baby?
I don't think she's a boss babe. Not Mona. Not like Mona. Mona is a boss babe.
Is Mona the boss babe? Or is Melissa? Or Jenna?
Jenna might be the boss babe.
Do you think Jenna could out boss babe Mona? In a 1-to-1 fight, who would win of boss babing?
You know,
by boss babing, I mean the manipulation aspects. Yeah, they're not fist fighting.
I think Jenna can because she doesn't have a criminal record like Mona does right now. And Jenna's very good at manipulating people. And so there is that, like, part of, like, is this also being driven from Jenna because she could also be trying to, like, get at these, like, NAT club people. Because she also understood how all these people were being bullied and victimized by Allison, and that's another way that they could be going after the friends. It's like revenge on these people. So that's another way that Jenna could potentially be Big A. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody else. I just don't think Paige has it in her to be Big A.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's about Theory Corner. That's about Theory Cornered.
You've done cornered the theory?
Yeah, that's right. Whew. Oh, I almost forgot.
Whose body's in the body bag?
Yeah, whose body's in the body bag?
Is it the one person that died in the first season?
Right. Yeah, there you go. People are like, who the hell is this?
You'll finally get your answer, honey.
Yeah, it makes it seem like it's Allison's body or whatever the body was that was buried with Allison's. I think they're going to test it and be like, that's not Allison's body. Yeah, I know. And that could be lead things to, like,
it's Wilden's.
Is Allison, exactly.
My Wario
era. It could also be like that twin twist of, like, it's Allison but not Allison. But But I don't really have any good leads on that one. But I think Wilden actually, I forgot about this to circle back on this, is a part of the Jenna trickle down of like whatever team Jenna's on, which I think is Team Herbalife at the moment, of targeting specifically the friends to get them involved and get everybody else off, not get convicted or like off cover for killing Allison.
I like it.
So, all right, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming to Theory Corner. Goodbye.
I like your theories, honey.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah. Just keep
try.
trying, baby. Just keep trying.
Good Lord, I try.
That's all you can ask.
Yeah.
That's all I can ask of you in this show and in general. Any final thoughts?
That is it for me.
How do you feel?
I feel all right. These were okay episodes. I like the they were a little bit more uneven, but I'm still doing all right. The Meredith stuff, Some of the Spencer stuff, But I like the like Spencer knows, and I like the Spencer confronting Fitz. Like there's moments in this, you know. And I didn't even mind that like Meredith was like actually poisoning Aria and throws her in the basement. Like I love that escalation, but like there's a lot of stuff around the edges there. It's just like meh. So
well, in that case.
Yeah. But
Are you excited for the next couple
I
episodes?
am. I always am.
I think I really like this season's finale too, if I remember correctly. It was one of the few season finales that I was like, that might have been almost as good as the mid-season finale. Because this show does a mid-season finale like no other.
Yeah. Hannah getting run over being the first one, right?
Toby being the most recent.
Toby being yeah. Damn. They do. They really do.
Was it Hannah getting run over or was it prom? I can't remember.
I thought it was Hannah getting run over.
I think you're right.
And then what's season 2's?
I don't remember anything before today. I'm gonna be real candid here.
Fair enough.
Well, we shall see what the next couple episodes bring. Plugs. When I'm not here doing this, sometimes I do other things on my other channels. They're all linked in my link tree that Brenton has so kindly put in the description on everything. Check it out. Say hi. Leave a comment. And if you got like a fan theory or, like you're like, hey, like try to pro Brenton into talking about this, feel free to message me on Instagram. I'm happy to. That way Brenton doesn't see it. We can have secret messages.
Yes. Just don't show them to me.
They're secrets. Yeah. We can't tell Brenton.
Tearing us apart.
Don't tell him who A is.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
It's very hard for me to keep these secrets. I didn't tell you anything so far. I've given nothing away.
You've done a really good job. I didn't know anything about Toby.
I've accidentally told you your Christmas presents before. It's a good one. I'm better at keeping secrets than I thought.
You did good.
Maybe like Spencer, this bitch can keep a secret.
That's right. And Mona respects that.
Yeah, I'm glad she respects me because I didn't get invited to Camp Mona and it did hurt my feelings.
You can find this on YouTube at dead_ends. You can also find this on all your podcast platforms of choice at Dead Ends. And you can find us on Twitter if you want to know when episodes go up. And
assuming the platform's still standing.
Yep. And maybe, I don't know where else we'd go afterwards, I guess co-host. For general podcast scheduling updates, that is Dead Ends Podcast. And then you can also write us an email if you want to also send those theories. You can just put in the spoiler tags, in the subject line, Brenton don't read this, and Emily will read it into the inbox. That's deadendspcast@gmail.com. And you can find this information in all of the description boxes on the episode.
Cool.
And finally, I leave you with, we are still here, and we are going to find out everything.
And we're getting a little weary.
A little weary.
And a little worried.
But we got our Christmas tree up in the background. You can see the little star poking out above your head. Merry Christmas, everybody.
It's It's Thanksgiving.
Felt like Thanksgiving was just yesterday.
Okay, bye, friends.
Bye-bye.